call this meeting to order for City Council, regular meeting Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 on the agenda, roll call, Minister Arapolopoulos.
Councilmember Ball. Councilmember Jensen.
present.
Councilmember Maroney.
Present.
Councilmember Scott. Mayor Rosenkamp.
Present. Thank you. Number 4 on the agenda, open forum. The City Council invites residents to share new ideas or concerns related to city business not already on the agenda. However, individual questions and remarks are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. No City Council action will be taken, although the council may refer issues to staff for follow-up or for consideration at a future meeting. The mayor may use discretion if speakers are repeating views already expressed or ask for a spokesperson for groups of individuals with similar views. Speakers should state their name and home address at the podium before speaking. With that presented, is there anybody here that wishes to address the City Council in open forum? I'll ask again, is there anybody here that wishes to address the City Council in open forum? Hearing none, open forum is closed. Moving on, item 5, consent agenda. 5A, approve claims totaling $605,726.66 for checks 140482 to 140543 and e-checks 3969E to 3997E. 5B, approve City Council meeting minutes from August 4th, 2025. 5C, approve pay application number 2 for sanitary sewer extension project. 5D, declare vehicle as surplus and authorize sale of property. 5E, resolution 17-25, accept sign donation to Breezy Point Parks and Recreation Department. 5F, resolution 18-25, approve donations to Pelican Woods Cemetery. 5G, resolution 20-25, supporting and authorizing the application for Sourcewell Community Impact Funding for Public Safety Grant submittal. 5H, resolution 21-25, supporting and authorizing the application for Sourcewell Community Match Funding for Public Works Grant submittal. Is there any questions or comments from the council on the consent agenda?
None for me.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve as read?
So moved.
I have a
Second.
motion from Councilmember Jensen, second from Councilmember Maroney. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Item 6 on the agenda, business item 6A, approve high-tech pay application number 11.
Thank you, Mayor.
Administrator Polfus.
Yep, high-tech pay application number 11 is due for payment for the City Hall facility reconstruction. Staff recommends approving the pay application as presented in the packet.
Any questions from the council? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the high-tech payment application number 11?
Also move.
I have a motion from Councilmember Maroney. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Jensen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. 6B, approve Parks and Recreation Master Plan proposal by Woodseth. Joe, Public Works Director.
We received 7 responses at the last Park and Recreation meeting. The committee members all scored independently. The results of the scoring is in the chart. Woodseth had the top score of 478. The financial impact, $25,000 for the master plan. Possible additional costs up to $5,000 for surveying if required. Timeline next year. It's not real firmed up. We'll firm that up once we get into the process, but that's a approximate timeline. So, any questions?
Questions? Councilmember Maroney?
Mr. Mayor, is it the start for next year or the completion for next year?
Start completion. The next park meeting, after today, we'll see if they're available, and it'll probably be the main focus of the committee. I would anticipate, midsummer or something, fall, but it's speculation until we get into it, really, so.
So again, the time frame from beginning to end is what? 3, 4, 6 months?
I'd say 6 to 7 months, yeah, as long
Okay.
as, there's progress and consensus and we're not rehashing things. There's some flexibility in there just because you never know if we'll have a, committee member, enough people there and those sorts of things, so.
Okay. Other questions? All right. Well, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the Park and Recreation Master Plan proposal by Widseth to move forward with that?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Maroney. Any further discussion? No?
No.
I'm happy to see it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing this. I think it's an important aspect for us to have this plan put in place to give us a good record of a vision of where we can go forward with regards to our park and rec. So I applaud the committee for working toward this, and I look forward to seeing what Woodsith comes up with for results as we work through the process. So I hear no further discussion. I'll call the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you, Joe. Moving on, item 6C, Bushman Road Project Funding Discussion. Administrator Pulfus.
Yes, thank you. As you know, the Bushman Road construction project began its planning and engineering in December of 2022. Since then, the city has completed multiple steps, including engineering design, public engagement, funding considerations, and most recently, the land acquisition. To date, the city has invested approximately $950,000 in the planning, engineering, and land acquisition costs, with about $3.1 million remaining to complete the project. The Finance Committee met and discussed funding alternatives for this project. After evaluating options, the committee recommends issuing a 15-year general obligation bond. The annual payment for the bond, which is included in the budget that I'll present later tonight, is $305,000. Already included in the 2025 budget was $280,000 for anticipated future debt obligation payments. The estimated increase of $25,000 is reflected in the preliminary budget that I will present later tonight. This type of funding mechanisms allow the cost of the project to be paid by the current and future residents of Breezy Point. Benefiters of the approved infrastructure will not only be our existing residents, but any future residents over the next 15 years. This method allows the city to preserve its day-to-day services, helps spread the financial burden to future residents, and ensures the taxpayer dollars are used for the intended purpose. If approved, the next step would be to approve plans and specs and authorize ad for bid in October. In December, the city council would award the bid, and from there, tree clearing would start late winter, early spring, and construction would begin in May of 26. So I recommend that you guys discuss the Bushman Road project, and we will reflect any decision made in the preliminary budget tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Council. Questions, thoughts, concerns? Anything?
I think we need to move forward with it. I mean, this project is long overdue. It's been many, many years of avoiding it. It needs to happen. The road is deteriorating, and I think we need to move forward.
Well, I would state that we've already invested the amount that's been said.
Correct.
So the idea of not moving forward the project does not enter into my brain at all with regards to that. I think the idea of the 15-year bond, speaking, and I don't want to speak for the Finance Committee, but since I'm on that, that was what we thought was the best way to move forward. And it looked to be the best for the city, the best position for the city is a 15-year to go ahead and move forward with that. I think the positive thing is that there was some foresight done previously in regards to the idea that they knew the project was coming, and so last year there was some stuff put into the budget already, so We know that the majority of it's there. It's just a little additional piece to get us to where we need to be. And I think if we work forward to approve, we can get this going and we can get an opportunity to get a good bid. That's a big thing in road projects, is the earlier we can get it out there, the better off I think we're gonna be. People, you know, the companies that are there will be competitive in the bidding, and that could benefit us in the end as well. So that's my thoughts and ideas, and I agree with Councilmember Jensen, it's gotta be done. We gotta improve that road for the safety of the citizens here in Breezy Point. And it's not just the citizens, there's a lot of other people that use that road. So, I think it falls on us as the city to be responsible in taking care of the road and making sure it's there, in good shape for the future, for others, so. Councilmember Maroney, any comments or thoughts?
Nothing really further to add. It's been a discussion point for multiple years now. We're finally getting closer. I'm glad the land acquisition was performed, because if for some reason we did put a pin in it, we still have that ready to go. So I'm glad that we moved forward with the way we did. And I think going for bid at the time that we're going to go is going to see hopefully favorable bids that we get back, and moving forward with that. And I think the bond is the right way to go.
Yeah, so. All right, well, hearing any further discussion, do I have a motion to go ahead and approve the idea of doing, I gotta read this so I got it right, to approve, move forward with the Bushman Road funding project with the idea of doing a 15-year bond, and to follow the tentative project timeline as put forward by our administrator.
So moved.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Jensen. Do I have a second?
Oh, second?
I have a second from Councilmember Maroney. Any further discussion? Hearing none.
Make a comment? Is this appropriate? If not,
Not at this time. If you just hold it, please. Thank you. Any further discussion from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. Now, if you'd please come forward, I'll allow you to make your comment. State your name, where you're from, and who you're representing.
my name is Dave Peterson. My name is Dave Peterson. I'm a supervisor of Ideal Township, and I'd like to congratulate the Breezy Point Council. I echo the mayor's comments. It seems like I've been talking about this road for 10 years. I'm glad we're finally moving forward with this. We finished up the tail end piece down there ourselves. It's going to be a little bit different than what we're doing for the majority of the road. It's going to still be having 12-foot driving lanes, but we're going to have 2-foot gravel shoulders. So we've completed the acquisition of that portion there also. So we're ready to move forward. We rolled it in to the rest of the contracts, so we're ready to roll. So we're glad we're going to get this done.
Thank you for your comments. We appreciate it. All right, moving on. 6D, zoning code revision discussion. Administrator Pulfus.
Yes, thank you. The city council had initiated the process of updating its zoning code in early 2023. The council selected HKGI as lead consultant and approved a contract with them for $120,000. This project was placed on hold at the end of 2024, and the city has spent about $14,000 to date on preliminary work. The council should have a discussion regarding the zoning code update and determine if it is still a priority to them. I included some items to consider as you make your decision. Some options to move forward are to continue with the update as planned, reallocate some or all of the funds to capital reserves for another project, or remove the project funding. I'd also like to ask Jerry to share his insights regarding the current city code. As we know, he has the most in-depth knowledge and experience in this area, so I'll lean on him for any answers to your questions.
Very good. Thank you. Council, questions? Thoughts? I'd like to get our planning and zoning administrator's thoughts and ideas surrounding this. Would you mind sharing?
Sure, happy to. As you know, that when Peter left, we had anticipated having a joint meeting between the planning commission and the city council to basically kind of kick off the process. Prior to that, there was about $14,000 to $17,000 worth of preliminary work, mapping, that kind of stuff, getting to know the code whatever by HDKI. Peter left and we basically suspended that in February. And we've had some discussions. Since the building is being put down, Ally's come on board, we're starting to think about what we're gonna do in the future and those type of things. I don't know the real reason why in 2023 there was actually a push to redo the zoning code, quite frankly. I think there were a couple of reasons that I've been made aware of. I don't know that fixing the code in any way would fix the issues that I became aware of. I think some of those issues are going to be there no matter what the code says. Also, in talking to the consultant, we've kind of had a conversation about the code and the comp plan don't coincide very well, and they need the focus maybe should be turned to the comp plan first to figure out what the vision of the city is for the next 20 years, so that we can adopt a code that promotes that vision. The way it was proposed before was just the opposite. Was we were going to make the code and then base the vision on the code. Although they do cooperate together, one justifies the other more than anything else. And if in fact we continue on with this process, I think we really need to consider doing that comp plan again. I know that was done relatively recently. I don't really think that it took into consideration a lot of land use stuff. That said, I just wonder if there's a real understanding of what's the matter with the code, the way it is. And I think there needs to be some discussions about what you'd like to change, and maybe it isn't a whole rewrite, maybe it's just a partial rewrite. I think there probably needs to be some discussion about lot size. And do we continue on with the way the current code is any new subdivision is 2.5 acres? Is that realistic? We do have some zoning districts that are 10 acres. We have some that are 5 acres. But even in the close proximity to what I call the central community where we're at right now, any new subdivision is 2.5 acres. Is that real? And I think those are type of discussions that have to happen as part of a comp plan. Mm-hmm. Getting back, is there really something wrong? And I think that's a crux. I think if in fact we get into this project further, I would assume that the Planning Commission becomes the lead agency. I really, really believe that there needs to be council involvement in that process with the Planning Commission so that there's buy-in. If in fact there are changes made and there's ordinance changes and those type of things, I think the council's input and backing is essential. Right now, we don't have the Planning Commission does not have a liaison even. And I would suggest if we get into this that there be at least 2 council members that are part of that planning process. I think there's probably a need to sit back and have another conversation with the consultant about what we can do maybe with a lesser project than what was proposed initially, and maybe more focus on the comp plan than on the zoning ordinance itself. I suspect one of the reasons that the zoning ordinance was called out is because not a lot of people understand it. And quite frankly, I don't know of any zoning ordinance that's understandable very well, but some are easier than others. But I think that's probably the crux of it. That's a lot of thoughts in one little bit of time, but I think there should be some rethinking done. I also know there's some budget constraints and concerns that might come into it. I think we could probably get some value out of a lesser budget than we had anticipated. Might help you out in the total scheme of things. With that, I'm open for questions.
First of all, thank you for your input. Very much appreciated. I guess I'll start, but this is something that came about before my current term as mayor. But coming into it, one of the things that I had heard about, but then also thought about as well is our comp plan. Okay, and to me, it makes sense that the comp plan is something that you put together and then potentially look at your ordinance if it needs to be changed based off of what the comp plan kind of comes to fruition on it. And they kind of go hand in hand, but I see it as being, the comp plan being something that we probably should be looking at first and then ultimately looking at the rezoning. I can't speak to why it was brought forth to have it redone because I wasn't part of that. I think the important thing is thinking about it now and is this something that we need to do right now? Is it something we'd be better off looking at our comp plan first and work through that process and then come back and look at our ordinance at that time? And even with that being said, is there a huge overhaul that needs to be done? I think Jerry's comments about understanding a zoning ordinance, I'd be the first to admit that I'm constantly learning about it and understanding what the different areas are and how they work and what it is and the variances that come with each one. So, I'd be the first to admit that definitely more education is always needed in that area. And I think that's also for the public as well. So, I don't know, from my perspective, I think it would make more sense for us to maybe potentially put this off to look at not doing it right now, but not forget about it. The idea that maybe we once we get through this year and work through our budget, we look at our comp, it is due. So we know we need to start taking a look at that. And then I think honestly look at our comp and say, okay, what type of a comp plan do we want to do? How many years do we want to look at? There's lots of different variances there. And I know that's not the same track as what we're on right now, but it's relevant. The idea that I think we need to look at that too, to think about planning for the future, because that really then does impact, if you're looking 15, 20 years out, what does it look like then with your planning and zoning ordinance? What you have currently right now may not work for what you're thinking about what it could look like in 15 or 20 years. So that's my thoughts and ideas. I would be in favor of looking at not moving forward with the project and potentially doing something to help us out with regards to our budget right now for this year, and then potentially not striking it off, but making sure it's there on our list to do for the future. So those are just my thoughts. So, Councilmember Maroney?
Some history on that is to make it simplified, or attempt to, with our current code. I know there's a discussion point that we had a lot of things that needed variances. So to dig into what are we seeing in front of us, can we make a rule for it versus variance requests for many things that came in front of the P&Z. Again, I think the P&Z kind of spearheaded this. I think they reviewed the bids, if memory serves me correctly, then they recommended the firm to come forth. And again, we had different leadership too as well at that time. Peter was new to us, so it was a great opportunity to rewrite that ordinance with a staff member that we envisioned for long term. And so a lot of things worked against us in this last year. So I'm okay with it on hold I know upon the last meeting, we had agreement with Jerry sticking on for a little bit more, helping with the P and Z until we get that staff position filled. And so it can be something that we can discuss. And again, with a new employee, that would be, the goal is a long-term, somebody to buy in with what we're doing. I do know as far as the council and P and Z, that was going to be the kickoff meeting, was to a joint effort. And I think that was to develop of who is going to be working on that plan, whether it's a full council and P and Z meeting bi-monthly. It was TBD on what we were going to do to work together with the P and Z. Peter left before that. We canceled the meeting, and now we're here months later. So I'm okay with suspending, but I think it needs to be something reviewed
Right.
eventually.
Yeah, I'm not
And whether
saying drop
it's
it.
start with the comp plan or not, and
Yep.
just I yield to Jerry. I mean, Jerry, you've worked with it for 12 years, 10 years.
More than you think.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say to your comment about not needing variances and making different rules for variances, I would say that the majority of the variances that are handled by the Board of Adjustment today are variances on Lakeshore. Because of state shoreline regulations and the need to follow those shoreline regulations in our zoning ordinance, they mirror each other, quite frankly. It's almost impossible to change some of those criteria for the variances. You're always going to have variances on the lake. That doesn't mean that when I talk about lot size and those type of things, that might negate the need for some variances if you were to reduce lot sizes. That type of thing, I think you can accomplish. But I don't think you can negate the need for variances on Lakeshore. Now, are some of those variances valid? Or are they just wants of something? And we're going to see a lot of wants, quite frankly. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're valid. It's like anything else. In any rule, there's going to be some wiggle room in it, and there's a lot of gray that goes with variances, and there's some common sense that goes with them too. But I don't think you'll ever get away from them.
Councilmember Jensen.
I would agree that I think we should suspend it, and to kind of piggyback on what Michael said, there was a reason we looked to redo them.
Sure.
Nobody understands ordinances.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jerry does, but Jerry's looked at them for years. The example we were given, the city of Brainerd redid theirs. I mean, they're in English, they're easy to understand, there's diagrams, this is what you can build, and, but the comp plan does need to get redone, and it makes no sense, I 100% agree, to pursue this without, doing the comp plan first.
Right.
So,
Okay. So that, that brings us then to what do we do? We have some options that Administrator Polfus has put before us. They are ones that we can look at, but we can also come up with our own option as to what we think we want to do. There is the funding in there. So the options listed is to continue budgeting the $85,000 for the project with no levy change. Option 2 is to reallocate some of the money towards capital reserves, which reduces the levy. And then option 3 is to remove project funding entirely, which reduces the levy more, but then we've taken the money completely back out. So, or we can come up with something completely different. These are just things that Administrator Polfus has recommended. I do know that in the Finance Committee, we discussed some ideas around that. So we were thinking about it in case this was something that the council wanted to do. What would that look like? What steps could we take to move forward? So I think it's important for us to think about what we want to do because that's going to impact what our end budget is going to be at the end. So I think it's important for us to give direction to our staff so they understand what they can think about going forward or how we want to take a look at it. So,
I would prefer to delay selecting options until after the finance committee meets towards the end of the month.
okay,
I think it's good timing. We're looking at the overall budget.
Yep.
Let's, with the finance specialist and Administrator Polfus, let's lump that into the finance committee, and look to see what we should do with the funds.
I'm not opposed to
I was
that.
going to second that, that no rash decision right now. If it's in the preliminary, again,
Yep,
preliminary, we set it, we can always withdraw items from it. So if it's in there, I'd say leave it for there, let the finance committee narrow that down on what to do with those funds.
perfectly fine with that. I don't have any issues with that. We definitely can bring it back to the finance committee and bang it around some more with staff and come up with some ideas and bring it back to council and say, okay, here's what we came up with. We think this might be the best way, and the council at the end of the day can make a decision, so. Okay, very good. I'm fine with that. So then we will then wait to discuss it in finance committee, make some final recommendations, and we can bring it back to the council and they can make a final decision on it then. All right, very good. All right, moving on to item 6E, which is the 2026 preliminary budget presentation and discussion. Administrator Polfus.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm going to speak a lot. I'm going to try to keep it succinct here, but pop in, ask me questions as we go through it. So each year, the city council must adopt a preliminary tax levy by the end of September in order to certify our proposed taxes to the county. Tonight, I'll walk us through the 2026 proposed budget and presentation. I'll also share the finance committee's recommendations, open the floor to you guys for discussion, and ultimately, we will want to adopt the preliminary 2026 budget and levies and set the date for our final budget hearing. So before tonight's meeting, staff had discussions with department heads to evaluate departmental needs. We have had ongoing discussions with our staff. The finance committee also met on August 7th to review the preliminary budget in detail. This process is very much a team effort, and so I'd like to thank Jeanette and also the department heads for taking part in this, taking ownership of their budget. So I'll start with kind of a quick overview of what a tax levy is. In its simplest terms, a levy is the amount of revenue we must collect through property taxes to ensure we have a balanced budget. By law, we must adopt the preliminary levy by the end of September. The final levy, which will be adopted in December, can only be reduced but cannot be increased beyond the preliminary amount. It's also important for both council members and residents to remember that property tax statements they receive include 3 public entities and some special assessments if they have any, and the city can only control its portion. Breezy Point's residents' property tax bills are divided as shown up there. Approximately 50% goes to the city, 30% goes to Crow Wing County, and about 20% from the school to the school district. This is based off last year's property tax statement. So the city's levy is comprised of 4 main funds. You have your general fund, which is all of your core operating expenses, which also includes the equipment capital improvement plan. You have your Economic Development Authority Fund, your Cemetery Fund, and your Debt Service Fund, which covers the city's debt obligations. Some key drivers for the budget for 2026 are the increases in employee compensation and benefits, rising insurance premiums, ongoing cost of financial software and other software required in our new facility, the need to replenish our capital reserves, police and fire protection contracts, capital equipment purchases, and as we discussed earlier tonight, the Bushman Road project. So I'll kind of break it out by fund here. I'll discuss them briefly and we can go into detail if we want. To start, the general fund supports our general government, so your city council, administration, attorney, planning and zoning, our public safety and fire protection, public works and parks and recreation. To shape the budget that we see tonight, we review the 2024 actuals that were in the audit, the 2025 budget, and the current year-to-date numbers to ensure we have accurate projections. Our equipment CIP, capital improvement plan, includes items the finance committee identified as essential to maintaining the city's operations. For 2026, we're proposing to levy for these items rather than draw from capital reserves. Our capital reserves have been getting depleted by our City Hall facility. In the past, this plan has been funded in part by the capital reserves, but we're proposing to levy for these items. And then the EDA and cemetery funds, there's no proposed increases to the EDA. The cemetery fund, the proposed increases, we will actually use the cemetery capital fund. It has its own capital, so no levy is required for that. And finally, the debt service fund includes the $305,000 bond payment for the proposed Bushman Road project. As discussed, we previously budgeted $280,000, which leaves that $25,000 remaining for the 2026. In total, all the proposed changes result in a 10.41% preliminary levy increase. And then the next slide kind of breaks down what that increase means in terms of city services. So about 30% of that increase supports your general government. 35% goes to public safety, so your fire and police protection. About 20% supports public works and parks. And then 7% of the funds will be used to fund the Bushman Road project. And then the following two slides show how the proposed levy increase and a projected 5.6% increase in property valuations will affect your tax rate. So your tax rate is the percentage used to calculate how much property tax each property owner will pay based on the assessed value of their property. And with the estimated tax rate of 40.05, you can see how the average resident's tax burden will change from 2025 to 2026 in the slide up there. The average tax rate in surrounding communities in 2025 was about 49% compared to our 40.05. And the average levy increase in surrounding communities in 2025 was about 6%. And then the final slide illustrates how typical homes' tax dollars are allocated across your city services and shows exactly how much resident tax dollars are being spent annually and where they go. So that's just an example of a tax bill. I used an average homeowner's, actually, I used Joe's property tax bill and calculated how that's broken out and what your taxes are going towards. So our next steps tonight, we need to approve a preliminary 2026 tax levy. It can be adjusted tonight. We can do it on the fly, however you guys want to make adjustments. We'll set the final budget hearing for our meeting in December. And then looking ahead, we meet with the Finance Committee in September. In October, we'll hold a discussion for fee schedule. And in November, we'll review the sewer fund. Sewer fund's an enterprise fund. It's user fees who fund those services, so it's not part of the levy tonight. And then in December, we'll hold the final adoption for the budget and levy. So if I didn't bore you enough, I'm here to stand for any questions you might have. And Jeanette too. Jeanette's been working hard on this, so she knows a lot of the history and in the weeds on it.
Well, thank you for the presentation, Administrator Polfus, and I do want to commend the staff for all the work that they put into it and the work that's been done to put this together and present it to us as a council. I know that there's been a lot of discussions and a lot of information that's been shared back and forth, and being on the Finance Committee and working with Administrator Polfus and also Jeanette, getting to the point where we're at, there's a lot of things that we're talking and discussed, so thank you. I know there's been some hard discussions and decisions that have had to be made based around this. So I just want to say thank you to you and all the rest of the staff as well for your hard work. So with that, I'll just open it up to the council. Councilmember Maroney or Councilmember Jensen, comments, thoughts, questions? Anything that you see that you want clarification on or?
Nothing immediately from my perspective.
Again, sitting in on the Finance Committee, the preliminary levy, we can reduce it. I think we need to work towards trying to reduce it, but there are some things we can do. But at this point, I think another Finance Committee meeting and input from a full council is
Correct.
definitely needed
Yep.
from our peers as to what they think
I agree.
needs to be done.
Well, and the idea is we can set it and it can always be changed downward. So we know we've got a starting point to work off of. And I think there are some opportunities for us to reduce it. We've heard a couple of those options already. I think there's gonna be more that comes out of that as we get together in our next finance committee, meeting. Some of the things regarding around our fees and other things that we discussed could potentially do something there too as well. So, I don't have any other comments or thoughts at this point, so, hearing none, I would say that we move to item F, which is resolution number 9-2025, approved 2026 preliminary tax levy and set date for public comment. Commissioner Povos, did you have any comments on that?
I don't.
Okay.
Approve as presented.
All right,
No
so
changes.
basically, we're at that point, so do I have a motion to approve the resolution number 19-2025 to approve the 2026 preliminary tax levy as presented by our administrator tonight, and then set the date for public comment, which I would state would probably be our December council meeting as regularly scheduled.
Also move.
So I have a motion from Councilmember Maroney. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Councilmember Jensen. Is there any further discussion?
Just to further clarify, that is December 1st at 6:30 PM.
Yes, thank you. Yep, so it'd be December 1st at 6:30 PM. Thank you. All right, hearing no other further discussion, I will call the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The motion carries. We've got work to do, and we'll get to it.
I think one other thing too, to the taxpayers of the community, we need your feedback. It's very easy off our website to send emails. You can call the council members, but I think the community needs to provide feedback as to what you want. It's not easy looking at the expenses. If we did nothing, it would increase 5%, just with the cost of what Administrator Polfus said, insurance, workman's comp, wages, just the cost of goods. And it's near impossible to not have an increase, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. So look forward to getting feedback from the community.
Well, and I would just state this, on December 1st, when we have our meeting, that is the opportunity and time when the public will have the ability to come in and comment to the council and share their feedback too. So by all means, I echo Councilmember Jensen. Feel free to contact us, email, contact our city administrator, share your thoughts with her as well. We're here to represent you. We ultimately do the best that we can, and there's always challenges with it. So, but we do encourage you to reach out to us, talk to us, but also come December 1st. Come forward, make your comments known, share them with the council, so that we can hear what it is that you're thinking about, so.
If I may.
Yes,
We will
Administrator
send out
Polfus.
some informational mailers to all the residents,
Perfect.
hopefully within the next couple weeks. And we'll have a whole website page with a lot of the information presented tonight. So,
Outstanding. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on. Item 7, departmental updates. 7A, City Hall update and payment tracking. Administrator Polfus.
yes, thank you. So paving, as you can see out there of the entire parking lot and striping was completed, I think about 2 weeks ago at this point. They have completed the demo of the old City Hall portion and have begun remodeling. Hopefully, our next city council meeting will be in the new chambers over there if everything goes smoothly. So I will keep you guys updated on that. Do you have anything to add, Jerry?
Not really.
He's like, oh, yeah. Whoa, wait a minute.
The things that are left are little things,
Yeah.
Okay.
but
You don't wanna hear
they
about it.
mount up to
Oh, yeah.
a question every hour.
Can only imagine. Okay.
And I really have to thank Mr. Maroney for helping us out through some of the technological wizardry
Yes.
that needed to happen. But I think you're going to be pleased when you get there, and your chambers are gonna be cool. I gotta believe that the staff is totally enamored with the new facility that we're currently housed in.
Yes.
I think it brings smiles to everybody's face that walks in the door, quite frankly. It's a needed improvement, and it's really been pretty impressive.
And I would highly encourage the public as well, if you haven't been to the new city hall, please come in, visit. If you don't have business, that's okay. Just come on in and check it out. Staff will be more than happy to answer any questions you may have about it as well. I do know that we're proposing to potentially, when we have our first council meeting, to hopefully have a ribbon cutting ceremony out in front, maybe prior to the meeting, something along that nature. So again, I encourage the public to come that evening as well to the council meeting. But also come and check it out. Like I said, staff is there to help, you know, the new digs, and they're more than happy to give you a little tour and give you a rundown of what's happening and where it's going. So it's something that I think that we should be proud of as a city, as citizens of this city. Be proud of the fact that we have that, and it's something that we can be proud of. So I encourage all of you to come check it out. 7B, administrative assistant position update. Administrator Pulvis.
Thank you very much. I thought I'd just provide an update. So as you know, we posted the administrative, and it's an administrative assistant, not an assistant administrator. There's been some confusion on that. So it's an administrative assistant. We received 62 applications, which were scored and evaluated. There were a lot of qualified candidates, and Jeanette, Deb, and I agreed on 6 candidates to interview. The interviews will be completed this week, and hopefully we will extend a conditional offer of employment to our final candidate by early next week. The Personnel Committee will be involved in that conditional offer and how to navigate that. So it should be on the October City Council meeting for final approval.
Excellent, thank you. Very good to hear that you had that many applicants. I'm happy to hear that we had that, so that was a good pool for you to be able to choose from. Hopefully the interviews go well, and we have a candidate that we can be looking at to approve in October then, so, great, thank you. 7C, financial software implementation update. Jeanette?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So the new software that was approved at December's council meeting, we're finally getting around to implementing it. It's been quite a crazy year at City Hall with all the changes, but so in about 2 weeks, we're gonna start implementation. The first module we're gonna start with is the sewer billing. That's scheduled to go live at the beginning of October. At that time, the residents will have access to a new payment platform, which is gonna be so much more user-friendly. They'll be able to sign up to get text reminders, email reminders, view their bill online, and even sign up for auto pay, which has been highly sought after. And then for the next couple months after that, we'll be learning the other modules like payroll, accounts payable, cash receipting. Staff has got a lot on their plate with all of this, but we plan on wrapping it up by the beginning of December.
Good, thank you. And it's timely that you're hiring an assistant right now with the new software coming online. They can learn at the same time everybody else is.
Yes,
That's great.
exactly.
That's good. Excellent. Thank you for the update. 7D, Planning and Zoning Commission upcoming agenda. Mr. Bonsack. He's laughing.
Right now, we have a planning commission hearing, a couple of hearings set for the 16th of September. It's not on its usual day because we had an internal issue with publication, and we had to reschedule it, but it's been rescheduled, and the notices have been resubmitted, and we're on our way. There's a variance application for a house on Osawatomie. And the resort is doing some more proposing of changes to some of their facilities, and one of the changes they're proposing is a rerouting of a couple of holes on the White Birch Golf Course. I believe if you're a golfer, it's holes number 8 and 9 on the front 9. They're proposing to reroute those holes from their existing location to a location further to the west and move the zoning. There's a piece in the middle of the golf course, not in the middle, but in segregated from the rest of the developed area that's currently zoned R4. They'd like to move that to where the rerouted holes are, and they changed the zoning from resort commercial to R4. That said, there is some controversy. There's going to be neighborhood opposition, and I would think we're going to have a full house.
Okay.
We haven't had a full house for a long time.
Okay, well, thank you for the update and appreciate the information. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the commission comes up with regards to their recommendation to the council, so.
And one of the reasons we're giving you this update this evening, unlike variances and conditional uses, which the planning commission has the
Right.
final say on, these rezoning issues and
Yep.
some replatting issues,
They come to
there'll
me.
be recommendations
Yes.
that come to the council.
Correct. Yep. And so I appreciate the update and making us aware of what the situation is there too. So we'll be looking to see what the commission decides and looking for the recommendation when the time comes, so, thank you. All right, moving on. Number 8, adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion from Councilmember Jensen to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Roney. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned 7:22 PM.